Hello friends! Today I want to talk about Jane Austen. So this is 1st of July and this is the beginning of Jane Austen July, and this year I want to participate. This is one of the main reasons I started booktube channel. I want to participate in all this October and Jane Austen July things, so I'm really excited to start this. For those who watch me for the first time, my name is Irene, and I was born and raised in Ukraine. Um, and I came to USA only 5 years ago, so English is my second language. So I first get to know Jane Austen when I think like 10 or maybe 12 years old, and I first watch the miniseries TV screen adaptation. I watched it in Russian, and I think it was maybe one of the first grown-up movies that I was allowed to watch with whole family, and I liked it a lot. It was so beautiful and wonderful, and I like the story, and I like costumes, and I like the first thing when there is the embroidery, and when the title goes. I liked it really very much, and I wanted to read it, but it was almost impossible. I don't know was it translated to Russian or not, like a book, but it wasn't published for many years. You couldn't buy it. So when I grew up a little bit, this was my favorite movie. I watched like, I don't know, thousands times, and so I decided to read it in English. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice was the first book I ever read in English. It was very hard. Where I studied English at school, but it was hard. There were many words I didn't know, so I looked at the dictionary many times, and I think I read it like 3 times straight, one time after another, because first I read too many words in dictionary, then I try to learn them, and then I read one more time, and then I read one more time, so to understand all things. I was amused how funny this book is, how characters are wonderfully written. I can't say that TV screen adaptation like TV miniseries are especially funny. It is beautiful and romantic, but it's not that funny, and book is very humorous. And what I like about this book the most, I think this is the only love story which is not love story but the story of marriage. There are so many type of marriage in this book, and you can really see the author's attitude to marriage and to love through all these characters, and it shows you that it's not that simple. There are many different situations, and there are many different type of love, and there are many different marriages, and all of them can actually work in for different people. So there is like a love story for all of us in this book, and I like this about Pride and Prejudice the most. So this year I want to participate in Jane Austen July, and there are seven challenges. 5 of them are book challenges and 2 are TV screen adaptation challenges. So let's talk about my TBR for this month. First challenge is to read a novel by Jane Austen, one of her 6 big novels. And I decided to read a novel, the only novel I haven't read by Jane Austen. I don't think it was translated in Russian when I was like in university. I don't know, maybe I just haven't seen it. It's Persuasion by Jane Austen. I have this beautiful book. Look how gorgeous it is. And yeah, I want to read it this month. This is a story of 27 years old girl few years ago, the man proposed to her, and she refused him because her family persuaded her that he is not good enough for her. And in a few years, in 7 years I think, they met each other again with different circumstances, and they are different in 7 years, and I think the love story will continue. I don't know, I am interested to see. This is the last finished novel by Jane Austen, and yeah, it's interesting how it's different from her earlier works. So yeah, want to read it a lot. The second challenge is to read smaller works by Jane Austen, and I will read her novella Lady Susan. I haven't even heard about it, and yeah, I'm really interested to read it. Know nothing about it. Let's talk about this at the end of the month after I'll read it. Third challenge, read a non-fiction work about Jane Austen or this period in history. And I will read this beautiful, beautiful book. I think it's the most beautiful book in my collection. Look how gorgeous it is. This is Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley. And I mean, this is a biography of Jane Austen, I think through different houses in which she lived. And I know that Lucy Worsley is really brilliant historic writer, very funny, very humorous. There are a lot of interesting details in her books, and yeah, I want to read it a lot. I can't wait. There are some illustrations here and some photos of the houses. I'll tell you about this book at the end of the month. I can't wait to read it. The fourth challenge is to read a retelling of modern retelling of one of Jane Austen novels. And actually I have two books for this challenge, and one of them, first of them, is maybe the second reason why I choose Persuasion, because I have this book I think for 2 years on my shelf, but this is a retelling of Persuasion, so of course I want to read a Persuasion first. This is by the book by Julia Sonneborn, and this is about two English professors at Fairfax College in Southern California. Our main heroine, she's professor, she began to write her book, and she has like a love affair, and she has her career, and then her ex-fiance and ex-lover shows up, and something maybe will change between them. I don't know. I want to read this. I bought it second-hand 2 years ago. Yeah, really interested in this one. And the other book I want to read for this challenge is Hearthstone by L. Catherine White. This is a library book, and this is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but with dragons. Can you believe this? I mean, Pride and Prejudice and dragons. I don't know how this can possibly work, but I'm eager to find out. So yeah, this is the second book I will read for this challenge. The fifth challenge is to read a book contemporary for Jane Austen, and I will cheat for this challenge a lot. I will read a book that was published 2 years after Jane Austen's death, and second, I will read a book by Russian author. I will read Ruslan and Lyudmila by Alexander Pushkin. It was wrote at the same time that Jane Austen lived. It was published a few years after her death, yes. And I mean, she couldn't possibly read it at any means. I don't know which was the year it was translated in English. And yeah, it's cheating, but it's my channel, so I think I can do this. I wanted to read, this is a poem by Alexander Pushkin. I wanted to reread for many years. I read it in school, and so this is a fairy tale, a fantasy about young princess Lyudmila, who was kidnapped by a dark wizard, and her fiance and brave knight Ruslan, who tried to save her, and he had also help from different magical creatures. And this is wonderful, interesting, brilliant poem by main Russian poet, and it's the same period. I want to read this, so it's all clicked, I think. Sorry about cheating, but yeah. Then there are two video challenges. Sixth challenge is to watch a direct screen adaptation of one of Jane Austen's novels. So I will watch New Emma. Sorry, I don't know any names. I mean the director and the actors. I don't like the Emma, like the story, but maybe I love this adaptation. I don't know. It's looked very beautiful. The costumes are wonderful, and I think it's funny and a little bit sassy. So yeah, let's look at this. And the last challenge, maybe I'll skip. I don't know. It's to watch a movie which is modern retelling of one of Jane Austen's novels. I don't know about any, so I think I'll look at what movies people will watch for this challenge and maybe do the same. We'll see. So this is all about my Jane Austen July, and I think I can talk a lot more about Jane Austen in my life because it is really one of my favorite authors, and also this is the author who started, love for English literature, love for English language, and also feeling that I really can read English books. I think it means a lot for me. Pride and Prejudice means a lot for me in my life, but I will not read Pride and Prejudice this month. So yeah, let's see how it will work. I'm very excited to participate, and see you in the next video. Bye!